It is dawn at Collinwood, and faint rays of light have begun to creep across the silent walls of the great house. For one girl it has been a night of terror, for a small boy has disappeared, and he is in greater danger than anyone knows, for he has begun to stumble onto secrets that could cost him his life.
Vicky.
Roger, what are you doing here? I thought you were in Boston.
Well, I just got back. What's going on? Why are all the lights on?
Roger,
I just passed the sheriff in the driveway. What's happened?
it's David.
What about him?
He's disappeared.
Disappeared?
He sneaked out of the house earlier this evening, and he's been gone all night.
All night? Why didn't you call me?
Well, I didn't want to worry you. There was nothing you could do. We've called the police, and they're out looking for him.
And you haven't heard anything?
Not yet.
And he's been gone all night long?
Yes.
Where would he have spent an entire night? Where?
Help! Help! Please, somebody! Help me! Help me! Help me!
What time did he disappear?
Carolyn said it was sometime between 7 and 8.
Carolyn?
I wasn't here.
Well, where were you?
I was out with Burke. Carolyn said she'd keep an eye on David for me.
I thought we paid you to take care of my son.
I'm sorry, Roger.
But never mind. Go on. What happened? Did David and Carolyn get into a squabble and David decided to run away?
No, it wasn't anything like that. David went out looking for Sarah.
Sarah?
His playmate, that little girl he's always talking about.
Well, why would he look for her at night?
Well, Joe Haskell was here.
Haskell? What's he got to do with it?
He and Sam Evans are looking for Sarah because they think that she knows something about Maggie's disappearance. And since David is the one who's seen the most of her...
So Haskell sent him out to search for this child after dark. That was brilliant of him.
No, it wasn't anything like that. David volunteered to go out himself, and Joe and Carolyn said that he couldn't go out, but he sneaked out anyway.
Well, Carolyn knew that he wanted to go out, and she didn't keep an eye on him.
It wasn't her fault. No one can keep an eye on David all the time.
All I know is my son was supposedly left in the care of responsible adults. He's disappeared for an entire night, and no one seems willing to claim the responsibility.
Roger.
Vicky,
Yes.
I didn't want to raise my... Uncle Roger, you're back.
Yes, and high time, it would seem.
Where's Mother?
She's still in Boston.
Oh. Has Vicky been telling you what's happened?
Yes, and I want you three to know that I hold you responsible.
Well, don't blame the girls. If anybody's responsible, I am. I shouldn't have gotten David so excited about finding Sarah.
Well, you certainly share in the blame.
Uncle Roger, please. We do have some news.
News?
A boy fitting David's description was spotted on a road outside of town
When?
hours ago. But the police think he may still be in the vicinity.
What vicinity? Where?
On the beach road, about 2 miles outside of town, near the railroad crossing.
Police are down there now to comb the area. They think if the boy was David, they have a very good chance of finding him quickly.
When did this happen?
You were upstairs when the call came in, and I couldn't wait around to tell you. I went up to the old house to get the sheriff and Joe.
I just stopped by to drop Carolyn off. I'm heading out that way now. Do you want to come with me?
Yes, I'll get my coat.
Joe. Don't pay too much attention to what Uncle Roger says. He's very upset.
I know.
Do the police really think that there's a chance of finding him?
Absolutely. If David's in the area, they'll find him.
Shall we go?
Yeah. We'll let you know the minute we hear anything.
Help! 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 Carolyn, it's silly for both of us to stay down here. Why don't you go up and rest? I'll wake you if there's any news. I couldn't sleep. Why don't you go upstairs and get some rest? You've been up as long as I have. Well, I couldn't sleep either. I wish one of us could. I guess we shouldn't be so worried. You heard what Joe said. The police have every hope of finding David. Yes, I heard. He wouldn't have said it if he hadn't meant it. No. Would he? Joe didn't get the phone call from the deputy. What do you mean? Never mind. Carolyn, please tell me. Well, the deputy wasn't quite as helpful as I made him sound. Why not? Well, the woman who thought she saw a boy fitting David's description, well, she was rather old and not considered very reliable. Well, that doesn't mean that she didn't see him. No. And the police are checking out her story. But the deputy told me not to get my hopes up too high. Well, I still have my hopes. So have I. But I should call Mother and tell her about David. And I'll have to pretend that I'm not as scared as I really am. But now, here alone with you, I can't pretend. I'm scared, Vicky. Really scared. So am I. But look, we don't really know that David is in any danger. I have a feeling he is. I'm afraid something's happened to him. Something terrible. And nobody's going to be able to help him.
See anything?
Only a lot of blue uniforms swarming through the underbrush.
This is the highest point of land for miles around.
Well, I don't see a thing. I'm convinced that so-called report was a lot of nonsense.
Oh, maybe.
But you heard the deputy. He finally admitted that woman who thought she saw David was old and a little senile.
Well, that doesn't mean she didn't see something. David might still be in the vicinity.
If David was in the vicinity, the police would have found him by this time.
They still might.
Well, not if they're up to their usual efficiency.
Look, they're doing as well as they can.
I know, which, as usual, is highly inadequate.
What's that down there?
No, that's Eagle Hill Cemetery. It's one of the most desolate cemeteries in this area, which is saying a great deal. Some of my ancestors are buried there. I never could understand why.
You think anybody searched it?
So, just cemetery? Why would they do that?
Well, I think we should.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. I have a feeling about that place.
Well, what are you talking about?
Well, Maggie has shown up there twice, pretty mysteriously. Once after she disappeared for the first time, and then a couple of weeks ago, Vicky spotted her there. Both times, nobody, including Maggie, could figure out how she got there.
Well, what has that got to do with David?
Well, nothing, except that cemetery has some kind of an attraction. At least it did for Maggie.
And you think we'll find David there?
Oh, I know it sounds far-fetched, but I think we ought to go take a look around. Come on.
mustn't fall asleep. Somebody's got to come. Somebody's got to.
That was closed last night. Somebody opened it. Is anybody in there? Is anybody in there?
Help! 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 Help!
No. No, there's no help for you. No help is possible. You must rest. Rest. Rest.
Help! Help! I know somebody's out there. Please, don't go away. Please. Where are you? Why don't you answer me? Help!
Well, here we are and no David. I knew we should have stayed and joined the sheriff.
Wait a minute. I see somebody moving over there.
Where?
Over there, beyond those trees.
It's nobody but the old caretaker.
Hey! Hello!
Why are you calling to him?
Come on. Maybe he's seen something.
I doubt it.
Who are you?
Well, we're looking for someone, sir. A little boy.
You're not one of them, are you?
One of them?
No, you're not. You're alive.
Oh, what on earth is he talking about?
Let me talk to him. Sir, have you seen a little boy?
Little boy?
His name is David.
David.
He's about 9 years old, and about this tall. He has light brown hair.
David. Yes, David.
You've seen him?
Where?
He lies buried not far from here.
Buried?
David Brewster, drowned at sea. The sea is his grave.
No, you don't understand, sir. We're talking about a boy who's alive. Have you seen a little boy about 9 years old?
David Brewster, drowned at sea.
Oh, it's no use, Haskell. He hasn't seen anything.
You must go. Both of you. You're in danger here.
What danger?
The dead are restless. Very restless.
Really?
Yes, I heard them calling. I heard their voices.
Voices?
Yes, they were calling for help.
This is a waste of time, Haskell.
Help. They kept calling for help, but there's no help for them. No help at all.
Where did you hear these voices, sir?
Oh, what difference does it make?
Where did you hear these calls for help, sir?
Over there, from the Collins Mausoleum.
Collins.
Well, maybe one of my ancestors was kicking up a fuss.
Are you a Collins?
Roger Collins.
Maybe that's why they were calling me. They knew you were coming. They were warning you to stay away.
Well, I'd be more than happy to oblige.
Wait a minute. Did you say you heard these voices coming from inside the
Oh,
mausoleum?
come now, Haskell.
Listen, I want to know.
They were coming from inside and all around. They were warning you to stay away. Heed their advice. Go. Go. There's danger here. If you value your lives, you must go. Go.
Well, I can't say that he's not amusing.
I think we ought to take a look inside the mausoleum.
Have you gone stark raving
You
mad?
heard what he said. He heard voices coming from inside.
Yes, he said he heard voices of the dead. Obviously, the man is mad.
Well, maybe, but he still could have heard something.
Of course he did. He heard the pearl-shaped tones of a spook saying boo.
Well, it may sound crazy, but I'm going to go in there and take a look around.
No, crazy is hardly the word for it. I've gone this far with you. May as well go all the way.
There was nobody there. I must have dreamed it. There was nobody. Nobody.
Haskell, you've got to promise me not to breathe this to a soul. I'd never live it down.
You can blame it on me.
Well, I intend to. Well, do you hear anything?
No.
Oh, what a pity. I was hoping we would hear a nice ghost.
Shall we go inside?
Oh, by all means, let's pursue this folly to its natural end. Well, do you see anything?
No.
Are you willing to admit now that this was insanity?
Yes, I guess so.
First, we trudge half a mile to poke around a deserted cemetery, and then we listen to the ramblings of a madman. What next?
Well, I guess that's up to you now.
Did you really think we would find David here?
No.
Well, then why did you insist on coming?
Well, because there seems to be some strange connection between this graveyard and everything that's been happening.
Do you understand this connection?
No.
Perhaps because it doesn't exist.
Maybe. All right, where do we go from here?
I think we should rejoin the sheriff and his men.
Okay, but first I think we ought to find a phone and call Collinwood. They may have had some news.
Well, that's the first sensible thing you've said so far today.
Shall we go?
Oh, wait a minute.
What's the matter?
Several of my my ancestors are buried here. From what I gather, nobody's been in here for about a century. I'd like to look around.
You have to do that now?
Oh, well, it'll only take a moment. Naomi Collins. Naomi Collins. She was one of the Collins beauties by the legends. Joshua Collins. He was an old tyrant, by the legend. It was by his wish that the family was buried here. No one ever understood quite why.
Look, this is all very interesting, but don't you think we're wasting time?
What are you doing here?
Oh, we were listening to your voices.
You must leave, both of you. You're not safe here. You're in great danger.
Really?
Yes. Yes, they don't want you here. They will take vengeance if you stay. Now you must go. Please. Please, now.
Who's out there? Who is it? Help! Help!
Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.